All right, welcome everybody to an all new DTI Takeover show, our artist feature edition today. For those of you that don't know, DTI stands for Desire to Inspire. So we have people on our platform that has a desire to inspire the community around them, and that also goes for our artists that we feature. We feature up and coming artists, independent artists on our platform to help them expand their reach and exposure nationwide. So I have an artist that I would like to introduce you to, and we're going to take some time and get to know him and his background in music and why he decided to, go into music and what music does for him. I have with me today Mr. GQ Smooth. Hi,
What's going on,
GQ. How
everybody?
are you?
I'm doing good, sister. How you doing?
So I'm doing good. I'm doing good. Thank you for being on the show.
Thank you for having me, for sure. Thank y'all, for sure. I appreciate it. Great, very
Absolutely.
honored to be here,
Absolutely.
for
No
sure.
problem. Great. Great. So, GQ, before we get into your background in music, could you let everybody know where you're from and a little bit about you?
For sure. So, everybody, the name is GQ Smooth, the fly safety on the planet. Born and raised in East Macon, Georgia. So, I am a Georgia peach. You did what I'm saying. Uh, I'm on all streaming platforms, GQ Smooth, dollar sign for the S. You know what I'm saying? It ain't all about the money, but hey, we like to get a little money in our pocket. So,
Okay.
you feel what I'm saying? Background into music, I just say it's as early as this, 2 years old in my grandma's kitchen, banging on pots and pans. Then that turned into playing drums in church. Then that turned into, well, I still play drums in church. And then
Oh,
that even
okay.
turned into writing, rapping, and now full fledged artist. You know what I'm saying? So I just been on my thing, putting the faith over fear, moving forward, and just putting my art out there for the world to hear.
Okay. All right.
Yeah,
Well, wow. So, 2 years old, you're
two
banging on
two
drums
years
in the
old.
kitchen.
Yeah.
So, first of all, what did your grandma say about that? I mean, because I know
Hey, look.
banging on
So
pots and
like,
pans,
hey,
some
she used to get.
grandparents, you getting a whooping. Like, stop banging on my pots and
No,
pans.
no, no, no. Real talk. You know. So like, she would be like irritated in a way, right? But
Right.
the thing about it was another thing. If I'm out the way and ain't bothering them, they kind of like, leave him alone, leave him alone. He in his own
Right.
world. But my granny, she said she used to like just sit back and kind of admire, like, yo, like I'll hit one, then I hit another part, then I hit a pan, and she was like, the sound was I was catching the sounds earlier, like I was understanding the sound, and she was just kind of like, you know what, I'm gonna just leave him alone because I see he's kind of capturing like a little niche right here. And then
Absolutely.
she bought me a drum set for Christmas, and boy, why she do
Why
that?
she do that?
But no, man, that's how it started for me, pulling out my grandma pots and pans because she used to put them all up, and I go right back in there and pull them all right back out again and start
hmm
jamming out again. So yeah, that's how it started for sure.
That's a beautiful thing, for, your grandmother to see something in you so young. You know what I'm saying?
For
With
sure.
most people, it would sound like, noise and, of course, irritation. I'm pretty sure, like you said, that's how it was when you first started banging, right?
Uh-huh.
But she gave you time and she, stepped back and allow you to play with those different sounds, and she saw in you, what you were doing, putting the sounds together, coming up with a rhythm, a beat, which, grew into you getting your own drum set. Like, that's amazing.
Yeah, yeah, for sure. So
For
yeah,
her to she created that space for you.
so yeah, that's the early origins of it. Like music has just been in me since a child, for real, for real.
That's great. So, going from pasta pans to getting your first drum set to graduating to playing the drums at church. What's that like for
Uh-huh.
you?
So early on, at first, it was already like another drummer at the church already, naturally, right?
Okay.
So when I really started getting into like the drums, I
Mhm.
used to sit out in the congregation with my mom and my grandma.
Okay.
Immediately after finding out I wanted to play the drums, I was up there with the choir, the organist, the keyboard player, and I would sit right behind the drummer, and I would just study his movement, how he came in on the upbeat, downbeat, the bridge. Like I just sat there and studied him, like just everything. And it would be times, say like, the part in church service where there's like, tithes and offerings.
Yeah.
He'll look back like, hey, you want to come up and jam real quick? I'm like, yeah, let me go on there. Let me. I used to come up there so excited, man. And
Mhm.
he'll let me do my little quick 1-2 during that quick little 5-10 minute intermission, and then he'll get back on when the choir came back. But that's really why I really cultivated the love for real, like just like the all around just aura for being a musician,
Right.
like sitting right there around those musicians. Like I said, the sound again, like sound was
Right.
just like, oh my God, I'm hearing how the keyboard is coming in, and then how the drums meshing, and then like I had an uncle who played the guitar, so he come. I'm like,
Oh,
yo, this is.
it's right. It's
I,
amazing.
I'm just like, oh my God, all this sound, and I just love how it was all coming together. Then of course you got the vocals from the choir coming
Right.
in, sopranos on the high.
Mhm.
It was man, it was a early on best experience. I think like, of course I
Wow.
probably wasn't conscious enough to explain it or understand it, but I definitely
Right.
knew. I said something with sound is definitely gonna be one of my
Something is
weaknesses.
happening
Like
here.
something with sound is just something that it's something about that I just cannot get away from it. To this day, I'll put some headphones
Right.
on and I'll just tune out everything in the world. I just feel like,
Just vibe out.
you feel me? So yeah, I definitely church is
That's
definitely where
amazing.
it started
Oh
out.
wow. Okay. So
Hmm.
so let's continue on this journey. So 2 years old,
Okay.
we playing the drums. So
Hmm.
how old were you around the time you started, playing the drums at church?
So I say I was so sitting behind the drum and studying him. I say it's probably from like age 3, 4, 5 on up to about, I want to say it's about like fifth grade, so probably about like maybe 10, 11 ish, around that time. Uh, I was still at my home church where I grew up and cultivated my musicianship. So
Mhm.
they had this one big church service, and I played for that church service, and I had fun doing
Okay.
it. And
Nice.
then a kind of a quick funny backstory: when they would have choir rehearsal, whenever the
Mhm.
drummer say he had, oh, I gotta go to the bathroom real quick, I'll hop on that drum set so quick, and I'll start playing while he was gone. And
Mhm.
one day I did, and even the choir looked down and said, "Hey, hold on, he kind of know what he doing." Like it's
Right.
like the way that I came in on the drums, they didn't expect
Mhm.
me to know how to do that. So it was like,
Right.
oh, this boy. They were like, okay, that's kind of, yeah, I like that. So
Right, right.
naturally, my mom had got married, and we
Okay.
moved to the other side of town in Macon, and
Okay.
we were going to this other church that was kind of like out in the country a little bit. And so again, sound, my thing, right? I would
Mhm.
go around and I would hear churches or praise teams or choirs and stuff that had choir and a
Mhm.
keyboard or organist, but no drums.
No,
And I'd be
okay.
like, Jesus, it's something. Oh my God, it's not complete. It's not done. So this church that we went and joined, I
Mhm.
just went up there and just I saw they had the drum set, and the guy who normally played drums, he went
Uh-huh.
off to go play college ball. So he gone. He out there doing his thing. So I said, well, shoot, man, let me go up here and help them out, man. I
Right, right,
honestly
right.
did that. It's pure love in my heart. I said, man, look, man, y'all need some drums. I'm gonna be the drum. I'm your drummer now. I did that for about like, I said like almost like a couple of months. Then one Sunday after service was done, I grabbed my sticks, packing up, and one of the deacons came out of the finance room, had an envelope, handed it to me. He said, "Here you go, young brother." I said, "What's this for?" And he said, "Yeah, the pastor told me to give that to you." He said, "That's yours." I said, "Oh, all right." Open the
Okay.
envelope. Nah, hey, my
I
first
get
time,
it.
my first time making a little piece of cheese off of my talent.
You're
$25,
right.
but hey, back then $25 meant a little
It
something,
was a lot
something.
of money. You're right.
And I said, "Hey, that was the first time I can say I made money off of my talent." And I said, "Okay, then this is." I said, "I can do
We
this,"
could do
and
something with this.
That went all the way up through high school to not, like I said, to this day, to this day. So yeah,
Wow. Now, isn't it great how God makes room for your talent to make money off of?
Oh man, look, we can talk all day about that right there, sister.
I
We can
know,
talk all
right?
day about that. For real.
I
I
have my
really
own
appreciate it.
experiences with that.
You
Yeah.
feel? And I really appreciate it. Like when that pastor did that, shouts out to him. His name is Pastor Benjamin Talbert. I don't. I still look at him as a pastor, but I look at him as an uncle for like the most
Okay.
part type. But like he really like he just really cultivated and poured that into, and I didn't ask for it, anything. Like I said, I did that
Mhm.
just out of sheer just man. I just want to make y'all sound good. I just want to help make it
Right.
sound good for the choir. And he just saw the value and just said, "Hey man, throw on something every Sunday for that." I appreciated that, man. That paid my phone bill for a long time.
I,
You
I know that's
did.
right.
Yes,
Okay,
man.
all
Yeah.
right. So we're building, we're growing musically. You're into the
Mhm.
drums, you're learning the sounds, the mesh, and how things, sound when they come together. So,
Yeah,
how did
yeah.
that transition into being an artist?
All right. So how that transition? I'm gonna say so. A little bit step back. I'm into drumming, and then around different. I say different pockets of where I was around, like my environments. I got different
Mhm.
influences of music. So naturally, when let's say July 4th or cookout season, like right now it's summertime, so everyone throwing
Right.
something on the grill.
Mhm.
My uncle, my OG uncle, so like my grandmother's brothers and stuff like that, they playing the OJs, the Temptations, Earth, Wind and Fire. Oh my God, I love Earth, Wind and Fire.
Mhm. Mhm.
You know what I'm saying? All that solid gold, old school jams, right? Then when I'm with my mom on the weekdays, Monday through Friday, on the way to and on the way from school, she played
Mhm.
gospel music. So of course I'm still getting
Yeah.
that gospel music inspiration, even outside the church. On the weekends when we went out or just was out and about, my mom played
Mhm.
R&B. So
Okay.
Mary J. Blige, all the Alicia Keys, Michael Jackson, God rest in peace, the freaking greatest of all
Okay.
time. You feel what I'm saying? Luther Vandross, one of my favorite
Mhm.
male vocalists of all time. Like,
Yes.
I'm just getting all of these influences with that. So that's that pocket, right? When I'm with
Mhm.
like my cousins or some of my partners who I was growing up with on the hanging out vibe, that's where or my even my uncle. My uncle played a part in this. Ti, Jeezy, Jay Z, any and all hip hop, I was getting that with them. And
Mhm.
even on my own time, I would, dibble and dabble into different sounds, but like all of those different influences just started captivating to me. And then of course, we growing up seeing 106 in Park
Right.
and TRL, you know what I'm saying?
Mhm.
So like when I would go home, and my mom used to try to keep me from BET. She used to try
Really?
hard to keep. Yes, it'll be times. I remember when B2K came out with Bump Bump Bump, and I used to try and sneak and look in her room because I heard the song, and I see she
Mhm.
got on the TV. And she was like, "Get out the room, boy. Go outside to play." And I'm like, "Man, I'm trying to see BT, man." But yeah, man. So, and then of course, BT Uncut. I am
Right.
one of
That
those
now you
that
really get it. You supposed to get out the room for that, for real.
you understand what I'm saying? I was definitely one of the ones that used to have on the remote where you go right back to the channel you was
Mhm.
catch you. I
Yeah,
definitely
you
did
can
that.
go back and forth.
You feel me? Switch it real quick, man.
Mhm.
But all of those were really just like early on influences. So how it turned into me being an artist was growing up
Mhm.
in school. My favorite subject was always literature and language arts, or anything to do with like reading or writing and words. So
Okay.
how it came about was listening to music all the time growing up. I would be like, yo, man, I like how they singing these songs, Tyrese and stuff like. It's so many artists I
Right.
can tell you that I was inspired by growing up. Really everyone who had made good music. But
Right.
just understanding the concept, like, okay, you got good music, that's the musicianship. I understood that part. And now they put in the words on top of it and just making it all come together. I said, okay.
Right.
So in my mind as a child growing up, the way that I always made it make sense to me was okay, you got the musician of production, that's like me
Mhm.
on the drums, someone on the keys, someone on the bass or whatever, and then you got the choir or the artist who's singing or rapping whatever vocals, and that's kind of like I said, okay, that makes. I said I kind of like that. I can do it. I can dig that, and so
Right.
getting into reading and writing essays, and of course having to read a lot, which honestly was a big habit of mine, a hobby that I enjoy reading. So that's really how it turned into. And so I started out writing poetry, trying to impress girls in school, like early high
Oh.
school. You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
Because I used to be like, I was like, okay, this is kind of like a poetic vibe. So I used to do that,
Right.
but then it just I started hearing other artists like Lecrae and stuff like that, and I was like, okay, then
Mhm.
this song rapping about church life in the way, or just being
Mhm.
being heavy in faith. But I was
Mhm.
like, I can really rock with this, like yeah. And so I just started. I think I wrote my first rap. It was me and two. It was me, my brother. It was me, one of my brothers, and another homie. And we was all heavy into music, but of course I was a musician out of everybody. And I had my other brother. He was into the guitar. He just wasn't doing it at that time. And it was this beat on YouTube. So this is back when YouTube beats was like, hey, you got to get you a YouTube beat or something off of YouTube. So I didn't know the first thing about reaching out to a producer. I didn't know the first
Right.
thing about trying to make a beat. I just knew if I heard a beat that was dope, I could come up with some lyrics to write to it and rap to it. And so we just went and got a beat off of this song that I thought was dope, and I wrote a whole song to it. I wrote a verse for me, and then they wanted a verse, so I wrote a verse for them. Because at first I was like, "Well, hey, write you a verse." And they're like, "I don't know
Mhm.
how to do it." I said, "Okay, I'll write it for you," and I wrote the verse, and I memorized
Mhm.
that whole song. I messed around my junior year of high school. I performed that exact song at a talent show. Technical difficulties and everything possible
Everything.
happened while I was
Yeah.
on the stage, and I still came out with third place. I said, okay, that's a nice little
Wow.
windfall. But that's really how it
Yeah.
came about, reading and writing and just loving music, just knowing how to put it all together. That's really how it came about for sure.
Wow. Wow, GQ.
Yeah,
That's amazing. Okay, so
yeah,
now today we have a full-fledged artist,
yep.
on our hands. So let's talk about it. Let's talk about Hippie Pack, your
Mm,
EP. Um,
man, whew,
what is
that
it?
hippie pack. I was just, whew. Some of my best work to date. We're gonna say that for sure. I stamp that. That's my best project that I made to date.
Okay.
Um, Also, this project represents a lot of growth for myself, not just as an artist, but as a man in life. You know what I'm saying? Even when I step out that music booth,
Hmm.
rent still due, life is still going on. You see what I'm saying? So,
Right.
a lot of growing, yeah, growing pains. We can say growing pains. You know what I'm saying? But just
Hmm.
embracing the growth. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
I'm definitely not 2 years old no more. I'm not 5 years no more. I'm not a teenager no more. You know what I'm saying? I'm
Right.
early 30s now. So it's like
Right.
growing and maturing, having to unlearn and relearn some things, let go of certain habits or let go of certain type of I say like environments
Hmm.
or
Hmm.
mindsets. You see what I'm
Right.
saying? And
Hmm.
so a lot of that inspired what the hippie pack became. So
Hmm.
like a more of a deeper backstory to it.
Hmm.
In 2020, I dropped my first independent project called Smooth was Here. Now,
Okay.
before that, I had two mixtapes. So the year 2020, for some people, it was a very traumatic year, and I do not take that for anybody. 2020 was a rough year for a lot of
It
us.
was.
But
It was.
for me personally, it was a pretty lit year. The reason why I
Okay.
say that is because the year prior to that, I got fired from a job.
Okay.
It is what it is,
It
right?
happens.
But but hey, when that pandemic had shut the world down, we was getting a little bit of unemployment money. So I
Yeah.
was taking all that unemployment money and I was throwing it into going to the studio. I was throwing it
Okay.
into trying to promote my project. I had did two mixtapes where I was just freestyling on some of my favorite beats from artists who I thought was dope.
Hmm.
Led that up into doing the into my album Smooth was Here, which is still out there for everyone that want to go tap in on that. So I went and did that, and then right after I did Smooth was Here, I'm geared up to just be like, hey, I'm ready to drop my next project. So of course, me and my brother, we, I ready to get in the studio and get on that. And it was a lot of some traumatic things that kind of like transpired. I'm still in my group right now, but the group kind of had a little bit of a falling out. And of course, so we weren't
Hmm.
working together in the studio, but it's still love. We just weren't in the studio together because I was ready to do a group project again, but that happened. So I'm like, okay, let's just go solo. I'm just gonna keep pushing solo.
Right.
And also, of course, me having life happening, my brother was having life happening. And of course, you know what I'm saying, he was going through some things and kind of simultaneously, me and my brother were both going through like a depression. I know for
Oh.
me, a lot of anxiety and
Hmm.
keeping it a buck, man, some suicidal ideation. You know what I'm saying? Niggas thinking
Hmm.
that, man. life is just too hard, and
Right.
we just tired. I'm just tired, you know what I'm saying? And then
Right.
also I had just got into a new relationship, you know what I'm saying? So I'm kind of getting out of my single young fly, you know what I'm saying, mannerisms and
Mhm.
actions into being more of a, all right, man, I'm a one woman man type vibe, and stuff like
Okay.
that. And so, just like I said, just overall maturity and growth. And
Mhm.
I definitely say getting back connected and understanding of God. You know what I'm saying? Not saying I
Mhm.
would just all the way out of church and just out here living on no carefree,
No, right. I
wild
get
type of
you.
vibe. But just
Mhm.
getting back with God and just like getting back centered into that what brought me up basically. And
Right.
what I'll say is coming out of my 20s. So I dropped
Mhm.
Smooth here when I was about like I say about like 25, around 25.
Okay.
And of course, I've been rapping since 13. Been doing music
Mhm.
since I was 2 years old. In my mind, when I was graduating high school, I said, shit, man, you want to ask me? I said, shit, I'm going to have a platinum album by the time I'm 22, 23. I'm going to be done
Okay.
went on all these tours. I'm going to be done did every feature possible with all my favorite rappers. And I'm going to basically be like a young OG in the rap game. And
Mhm.
here we are, 25, 26, 27, and ain't none of that shit happening. So
Right.
I'm feeling like, man, it'll make you start feeling like, well, is this meant for me? Is this my
Right.
purpose?
Mhm.
If it's my passion, you know that you gotta make me leave the studio, or you gotta make me
Right.
get off the drum set. But it's like, is this what I'm supposed to do? And then of course,
Right.
you got life, you got bills, you gotta work,
Mhm.
jobs, all what I'm saying, all that type of stuff. So I had really went into like a depression for a minute because I was feeling like, man, all this shit going on. And then even like relationship issues. Me and my girl would
Right.
probably have a little argument, a little spat, butting heads, and
Mhm.
that's getting to me. And then,
Right.
I would be pulling um mental stuff from like when I was younger. So younger I went through some abuse while my mom was married. And
Okay.
a lot of that traumatic stuff. So,
Mhm.
a lot of that, piling up in the mind was
Mhm.
really crushing me mentally. And
Right.
I got into therapy.
Okay.
Started doing that. So I advocate for anybody getting married therapy, but especially my brothers, my black men, get some
Yeah.
therapy, bro. That
Mental
stuff will
health.
save your life. You feel me? For
Absolutely.
real. And also on top of that as well, when I was about to turn 30, I had never taken a cruise, right? So
Mhm.
me and my girl, we took a cruise. I took a week
Okay.
long cruise. I was on D&D. I didn't have my phone on, none of that. I just said I'm just gonna spend the week with just me and my girl. That's all I'm doing this week. Enjoy myself. And I called it me 30 in the black because I had
Okay.
I had got dressed up, did me some fly stuff for my birthday. But I was saying, going into my 30s, everything that I went through in my younger years, teenage years,
Mhm.
20s, going into my 30s, I said my 30s are going to be my best decade in life. You know what I'm saying? Like I'm about to just be on a whole new tone,
Right.
a whole new energy. You see what I'm saying? And so
Mhm.
my birthday is on August the 19th. So I am a Leo. So my birthday was
Okay.
on a Monday. I came back to church that following Sunday, playing the drums,
Mhm.
and the preacher who was preaching, she was prophesying, speaking over everybody. And she turned and looked at me. And I remember one time in church she was speaking about like, it's someone in the congregation today that went through like child abuse and
Mhm.
depression and da 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 da. And I was like, man, this woman's talking directly to me. And I was
Mhm.
just like, man, that's powerful. So she basically spoke over me and was just saying like, GQ, like she didn't know my name was GQ at the time.
Right.
She was like, brother, like you have a light in you, and you've been like fighting so hard to shine that light or show it, that you've been feeling like you falling on deaf ears. You feel like
Mhm.
people don't recognize you because, of course, also alongside of this, when I'm out here pushing my album, my mixtapes and stuff, it's like I get people that support me and ride with me, but then on the other side, it's feeling like, okay, like the certain people that I wanted to kind of gravitate towards it, they
Mhm.
want.
They not. Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So it's kind of like in a sense, I remember asking my girlfriend, I said, do you think I'm fighting for a false sense of validation? And she
Mhm.
said, in a way you could be. So, all of that going on basically nutshell.
Right.
When I had got that, when I had got that message in church, the prophetess that was speaking to me, it was just hitting me like in the heart, soul level. And I was like, man, like that's real. And even prior to
Mhm.
that, I had always been getting all these prophecies from these, high established evangelists and ministers. Like,
Right.
no, God got you.
Yeah, keep
God's gonna
going. Mhm.
God's gonna do some big things for you. Keep the faith, keep going. And so the one thing that stuck to me that she said, God said, as long as you keep me first and you keep giving me, basically keep putting me in the midst of everything you
Yep,
do,
giving him the
I'm
glory.
gonna
Mhm.
everything you do is gonna go well. Everything you do is gonna go well. And she even looked at me. She said,
Mhm.
"What's your name again?" I said, "My name's GQ." She said, "GQ." God said, "Get ready because the world is about to know exactly who you are." And I was like, "Damn." And prior to that, a lot of things was happening that was in a
Mhm.
way confirmations of that. So like I'm
Okay.
I'm very spiritual on that type of level. I'm like, bro, if it came from God, I know it's real. You can't
Right.
count me down for that you did. So
Mhm.
that was that Sunday. That
Okay.
Monday, I'm at work at my job, sitting at my desk, and I texted my bro, who runs the label with me, and he's also our head engineer and producer.
Mhm.
I hit him up and I said, "Hey man, I need some beats, man. I'm ready to get back in the studio, bro. I got some shit to get off my chest." And he was like, "All right." He said it's funny you said that. I got a couple of beats I've been cooking up for you anyways. I said, "Send them bitches." He
Okay.
sent them things to the email. The first one I opened up was actually the intro on the EP,
Okay.
and that set the whole tone. And it was like right then and there. It's like that passion and that feeling I felt from when I was like 16, 13, writing my first raps. And it was like
Mhm.
I was getting goosebumps when I was writing these rhymes. I started feeling that all over again, and that set the
Oh
whole tone for the whole
wow.
EP. So yeah,
Wow.
it's a very spiritual, personal project for me. Like that's why I said this is my best project to date. I really took my
Okay.
time to slow cook this thing, man, and put everything into it, from the lyrics, everything, like the whole vibe of it. You know what I'm saying? Was like centered around one. First of all, centered around God. You know what I'm saying? Now, I'm not saying
Mhm.
I'm a gospel rapper, Christian rapper, but don't be surprised to hear that I'm rapping and shouting
Mm,
out God in my raps. Like
right.
this is where I get it from. First, like my
Okay.
first tattoo said God first on my bicep, so I
Okay.
gotta keep God in it. You see what I'm saying? So it's just like
Absolutely. I
just
agree.
that. And I
Okay.
just said overall, the motivation for this entire EP that I dropped, it came from God.
Mhm.
Getting back tight with God, for real,
You
for
better
real.
give him that glory.
I got to. I
Okay.
can't go without. I can't do that. I can't go without giving the OG credit. You know what I'm saying?
Okay. All
For
right.
sure.
That's what's up. That's what's up. So GQ, before we wrap this thing up,
Hmm.
how can people follow you on social media and get access to your EP?
Okay. So you can follow me on socials at GQ Smooth underscore MOT. So that's TikTok, that's Instagram. If you still got Snapchat, I am on there too as well.
Right.
Um, Facebook is GQ Smooth with the dollar sign. So make sure y'all use a dollar sign for the S in my name. And then also, really, I just keep it easy for everyone. I say just go on Google, type in GQ Smooth, GQ dollar sign MOOVE. Everything pops up. Pictures.
Everything
They
pops
got
up.
a little AI breakdown on me and everything. I was like, oh shit, AI know me now. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, but I'm everywhere. Also on all the streaming platforms, GQ Smooth, GQ dollar sign MOOVE. The Hippie Pack is up there. My past albums up there. All my singles are up there. Everything is up there. So y'all can go tap in and just get the full view of who I am and what type of
Absolutely.
music I bring, the vibes, the energy, the passion. That's the number one thing I know. I've always wanted people to just recognize in my artistry, like, oh no, this dude
Mhm.
passionate. Like he mean this shit when he say this. Like he ain't just writing this just to say it. Like nah, he meant that,
Right.
or you can tell it's real. You know what
Yep. I can tell. Yes, you
I'm
mean it.
saying? For sure, for sure,
I
for
can
sure.
see and feel the passion that you have for
You
your music.
did.
So big ups to you, GQ. Also, everybody, you can also find out more about GQ Smooth on our website, totalentradio.com.
Yes,
If you
yes,
go to our
yes.
artist feature page, or is it feature artists? It's one of those, but
Yeah,
we have
yeah.
a
It's
tab.
feature
It say
artists.
feature
Yeah.
artists. You click on that tab, GQ Smooth. The first picture you see, you can click
You
on it
feel me?
and get a bio
Right
about
there.
him. Um, there is a link that would transfer you to his platform, so you can see, how to get to the music that he creates. So check them out on our website as well.
Yeah,
So
man. Make sure
GQ.
y'all run up that hippie pack for sure.
Yes, yes, yes. GQ, it has been a pleasure and an honor to get to know you. I'm sure my listeners enjoyed your the history and going on that journey with you from when you started getting into music to where you are now. Big ups and congratulations to
Thank you.
everything that you're doing, to everything that is coming your way. And thank you for being on the show.
Thank you for having me. I know we've been putting this together behind the
Yeah.
scenes.
For
I'm
some
so
time,
glad we
right?
finally got it done, man. I'm so glad we got it done. And
Absolutely.
I just want to say this, man. Just like I said, once again, it's June. It's Men's Mental Health Month. But
Mhm.
I believe for anybody, I highly, highly recommend. First of all, have God in your life. God first, no doubt, no
First.
matter what.
Absolutely.
But also get therapy. And like I said, when you listen to my EP, you're gonna hear me speak about, getting into therapy. You're gonna hear me talking about giving all the glory to God, all that. But
Mhm.
it's some turn up vibes in there too. I got some stuff you can ride to
Absolutely.
the
I
club.
mean,
And
we
I
can
got some
turn up
stuff
with the
you
Lord
can.
too. Come on.
You can, you definitely can. I turn up every Sunday. You feel what I'm saying? So,
Okay.
so that ain't never the question. You feel me? But just overall, man, I just want the people to just feel and peep the passion, the real artistry, you know what I'm saying? And outside of music, I am an actor, so y'all go check out Loyalty Over Blood season one. That's on Tubi, Prime, Apple TV. There's
Okay.
actually a new streaming service that we just hit. I can't remember the name of it, but it just happened recently within the past week. Also, I'm
Okay.
a fashion model and a fashion stylist. So if you need someone to put on that drip for you or help you put it on, you can holler at me on that as well. So yeah, and
Nice.
I plan on getting back on the runway real soon, man. Some models,
Okay.
some fashion weeks coming up. I'm about to try to put my shot back out there and hop back on that runway. 'Cause that's another passion of mine. I like clothes and fashion and getting dressed up, as you can see. So I like to do
Mhm.
that.
I
Then
see
of
it. We
course
see the drip. We see the drip.
you feel me? And then my girl is also a fashion designer, so that's kind of like a cheat code. You know what I'm saying? I
Right.
get the drip when I want. You feel me?
Okay.
Yeah, yeah.
All
So
right,
yeah,
GQ
man, y'all
Smooth.
tap in on
Before we
all that.
Okay. All right, great. So before we wrap this up, or not before, but as we wrap this up, could you go
Mhm.
ahead and introduce your new song off your EP for the audience?
Oh man, y'all gonna love this one right here. So this is the new hit single from me. It's titled "Sweetest Taboo," and I wrote it about my sweetest taboo. You feel what I'm saying? So it's produced by my bro Hit Class. Shouts out to Hit Class Studios, man, back home in the Mac time. This is that purely bred making music. If you ever heard about making in the historic history we have in music, just know that we adding on to their legacy and continue to go forward. So this is Sweetest Taboo, written by me, produced by my boy Hit Class, man. I dropped this on Valentine's Day, so this is for all the lovers. This is for all the lovers, all the committed, tight knit, God first relationships. This is for y'all, not the toxic ones. The toxic ones can listen to this and help get some inspiration. But this is for the lovers for sure.